everybody, and wow, I got my magical mystery bead box for the month of November 2025, and it's amazing. It is winter elegance just through and through. I absolutely love it. And you guys that have been here before, you know that when I really love a box, like today I was trying to set up to do a little unboxing before I start making, and I couldn't help myself. I've already done my first earring. It's just so amazing. I'll show you, these findings are in the mix. We got this beautiful mix of crystals with an AB finish called Blizzard. I fell in love with these enamel redbird charms, and I made my own ear wires, and so I'll show you how I did that. But let me show you what's in the box first. We'll do this gorgeous Between the Trees bead mix. You guys that have never had a Jesse James bead mix, I encourage you to treat yourself because nobody does a bead mix like they do. So the first thing I'll take out is this beautiful, let me put my hand behind it because it's so lacy, this filigree snowflake. It has a hole for connecting at the top and bottom of the snowflake, but as you can see, it's very lacy. So if you wanted to get really creative, there is a lot more connecting you can do with that. But I'm going to put that there so I can show you that little earring design and just dump this, because that's the best thing to do with a Jesse James bead mix. Look at all the crystals. Aren't these stunning? These green hearts that are faceted with this really beautiful profile. I absolutely love to do a herringbone wrap on a heart crystal. There are cube beads. These barrel beads in this mix are just wonderful, and there's quite a few of those. There are some briolette faceted teardrops. And these, I love these. They have a bronze metallic back and an opalescent sparkle. So they are just really beautiful and snowy. It's just a gorgeous bead mix. So I'm going to be pulling some things from that. And then we got this pine cone mix, which is these gorgeous 6-0 bronze seed beads. And we got this beautiful one. Mine doesn't have a label, but it's an AB crystal 6-0 seed bead, and it actually just looks like the like snowdrops, or to me, I'm a Florida girl, so I see like ice and snow and icicles in this colorway. But you know, those of you that live where you see snow and like a true winter, you might be laughing at me, but that's okay. My son and I we have a snowman collection. We have a little bit of an obsession with winter things because in Florida this time of year it's just less hot than it normally is. So I love this box with the items that are very snowy and wintry. Look at the Blizzard crystal mix. There are bicones in here and rondelles, and they have pretty large holes. So if you like to string on things that are a little chunkier, like Brazilian wax cord in 2 or 3 millimeter, these crystals would work for that. And we got sleigh bells. Oh my goodness, aren't these so cute? And they really jingle. They're so cute. And the little openings are just exactly like what I've seen in movies that they put on the sleigh or around the horse's neck, and I just love the sound. So I think I'm going to put a few of these on my bracelet project that I'm going to do, because I don't know, I'd love for you guys to tell me in the comments if you like noisy jewelry or quiet jewelry. For me, a little jingle, like the beads clinking or a little bell or something, I really love that. I just think it's part of the fun. We also got reindeer games. Look at these findings. Aren't they amazing? They have the little imprints of the antlers on them, and they're just gorgeous. And I tell you, when I looked at this, I thought for masculine jewelry, like on brown leather, to have a bronze reindeer antler hanging from a brown leather cord, I don't know. I mean, the man in your life might just think that's the best thing he ever saw. I thought that was really cute. And then this is amazing. This is called Crystal Snowfall. I didn't measure this, but it is a huge length of cup chain with a gold backing. And we got 2, 4, 6, 8 of the little end terminators with the loops on it. So you could really do a multi-strand bracelet. I was even thinking to do 3 strands, do a 3-strand bracelet like that and put the little ends on it and put it on a really large jump ring. It's hard to show you when it's not connected, but just for like triple sparkle. Look at that little Look at that little bracelet. I'll just wrap it, but like to put the finding on 3 strands and then connect them and make just a multi-strand sparkly bracelet, that would be so cool. The other thing I love to do with this is make earrings. So you just snip however long you want. I love chain earrings anyway, but sparkly chain is even better. So you would put one of your findings on one end, snip the length that you want, put your finding on the other end, and then dangle something from it. And that is just makes a beautiful, beautiful earring. I am also crazy about this. Oh, you know what? I mixed these up. This is called Icicles. This is Crystal Snowfall, and this is maybe my favorite thing in the box. These little snowflake post earrings are gold plated. They are pave with all kinds of crystals, a little glass pearl in the middle. It has one little connection loop, and I'm going to do something really special with mine. I have something sitting off to the side that I purchased, and I've had it in my stash for a while, and it is the perfect complement. So I love it when I get something in a bead box that has me use something that I've been kind of hoarding. So I'm going to show you what that is for those. And then we got this little package of goodies called Feathered Friends, and that's where the little enamel red birds were in, and also this magnetic heart clasp, which is amazing with the cup chain, by the way, and these beautiful little copper chandelier components with the embossed flowers on them, and they are two-sided, so I just love that. And you know, for these kind of components, they make great earrings. They also make a beautiful multi-strand necklace. You can do the part that goes around your neck here and have your double strands going from loop to loop here. You can also turn them this way and make a bracelet bar out of them. These are beyond fun to play with. I just love those, and I love that copper color. Okay, did I miss anything here? No. And then this bead strand is the cutest. It's called Let It Snow. And of course you have these quatrefoil beads that are very, they look very icy to me, but there are 2 segments on this strand that are little snowmen. So his little hat starts right there, and his body, and he has a crystal red rhinestone neck between his head and his body, and there's the other one. So you could do a really cute, really petite little pair of snowman earrings super fast, or just take one of them and put it on a head pin and make a dangle for a bracelet. That would be so sweet. And then look at these clay beads with the crystals embedded in the clay. It looks like snow on top of a tree, because you've got the ombre green from the lighter green to the dark, and that like white snowy color at the top of every bead. So it just really looks like glistening snow on a tree. This strand is just beautiful. And then this is, I said that was my favorite thing in the box, but look at the boho bead. It's a boho coin bead. It's just amazing. It's also two-sided. It has that little bit of cup chain and ball chain in green and in that AB crystal. It sparkles like crazy. I love these coin beads in here as well. There's some giant bead caps here and some really opaque green faceted rondelles. It's just a fabulous, fabulous bead strand, but I'm going to steal this bead for a bracelet, a really fast, fun, anybody can make it, anybody can wear it bracelet. And then it's so sad to get to the last thing, but this is the Winter's Eve bead strand, and it's a double. And so on this side you have this really matte gold snowflake bead, and on this side the bronze findings, the little spacers and bead caps encasing these rondelle crystal faceted beads. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to be using these in my bracelet with this, because I love the bronze with this kind of a little bit of not so bright gold that's on the boho bead. So let me just clean up a few things, and we'll do the 2 pairs of earrings that I want to make first, and then jump right into a bracelet. Just be a second for you. Okay, everything that's here is laid out for my bracelet. I may or may not use everything, but I love the mix of the antique bronze and the bright gold, and that's what I'm going to do. And then I didn't show you this in the bead mix between the trees, but there are two of these bronze snowflakes, and I want to use them as a charm. So, and I want them to be two-sided because it's going to be a charm. So I'm going to get in my E6000 glue in here and glue those together, and I'm just going to set it aside and let them dry while we work on the earrings, and then, you know, they'll hopefully be ready. So I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of my E6000 glue, and I'm going to just get it on the tips of this little finding where the two pieces will meet as neatly as possible. If you're not familiar with E6000 glue, it pretty much bonds anything. It's pretty thick, and it takes about 30 minutes to set up so that you can handle it, and then really overnight before you should wear your pieces. And the cool thing about it is it's a glue that dries rubbery. So for something like this, anything that's oozing out that dries, I can just take my pliers or tweezers and pull those rubbery strings off after it's dry. So I'm just going to try to hold on to this and get the two halves of these two charms glued together. You don't have to do this, but you know, for me, I don't know, there's something about a two-sided charm on a bracelet, and also making this a little bit chunkier to go with this coin boho bead. So I'm just going to line these two up as best I can, and I keep little scraps of wire on the side of my table, like little bits that I don't want to throw away, and that helps me to do a neat gluing job when I have to. So I just want to make sure that my loops are lined up. So now I have a dimensional snowflake, and I don't know if you can even see my two little small flat back crystals, but I'm going to put a little tiny bit, a little dollop that's already dry, little dollop of my E6000 glue, and I'm going to set a crystal in the middle of my snowflake charm on both sides. It's such a tiny amount of glue, so just the tip of my wire is perfect, and just use my jewelry pliers to set that crystal right in the middle. And I am going to very carefully turn it over and do this side. Okay, I'm just going to let that little snowflake hang out and dry while we do our earrings. And I'm going to do the little redbird earrings first. It's just so sweet and flirty, but there's an elegance about it too, just like an elegant winter with a little bit of whimsy because of the enamel bird. So I have a little scrap of my white quartz color soft flex bead stringing wire. It's the 49 strand medium. I love that bead stringing wire, and I have taken some of the blizzard crystals and strung them on a scrap of that. So I have 3 on this side that are separated by an 11-0 seed bead, and 3 on this side that are separated by an 11-0 seed bead. And then I'm going to take a number 2 crimp tube and feed that on one side of my wire, and then feed my other end through the other side. And I'll just pull one side so I have another good scrap here with which I can make another ring. And I'm just going to pull that into a little ring, and I'm going to use my magical crimping plier. So especially with these bicones, when I pull my wires, the ring is quite tight, but when I come in with my tool, it is going to push those beads out, which is okay because we're making a connector, and that space that's created will give us the space to connect top and bottom to this ring. So before I close down, I just felt my number 2 crimp tube go in the center of my tool, and I want to give this a nice tug as much as I can with those bicones in there before I close the tool. I'm just holding light pressure here. Sometimes I do both fingers like that and just close the tool. When I take it away, I have made a square. Focus camera. I've made a square. I still feel like it's not focused so that you can see the square with the 4 pinched corners. And then I want to do the same thing again, but in the opposite direction. So get my tool in there, just felt it go in, and then close in that direction, and then hold that spot. And on a ring, you pretty much have to rotate your work and just open and close a few times. You can fit it back in if you feel like it needs more shaping. You can fit it back in. And so a number 2 crimp tube, when it's crimped, looks like an 11/0 seed bead. And so many of you that are returning to my channel, you have seen me do this technique before because it is one of my favorites. And it just adds such a dimension, like with small little beads like this. You add them into your design, add in the color and texture of the beads, but you make them appear, have a little bit more of an appearance when you turn them into a component like that. So it's ready to go, and I'm going to attach over where I've crimped and then in between these two with jump rings. So I have one of the crystals and I have 3 jump rings here. So let's do the little bird first. He goes on the bottom in between the 2 bicones where I did not put a seed bead. So I'm just going to get my jump ring in there, and I'm going to connect so that my birds are facing each other, so they mirror each other. Okay, my bird is on, and then let me show you. I did 2 jump rings at the top. It's just really pretty, just for the looks. It's not for security, but it kind of covers up where I've crimped, and I just like the architecture of it. So I'm gonna do that again. I'm going to put double jump rings over this bead that I've crimped and go right into one of the connecting holes. So just find that little round spot in the filigree and then add in my ring that I made, my ring component. And I'm going to put the second one in there as well, right next to the first one. So my earring is looking like that, and I took a piece of 20 gauge wire and made my ear wire and embellished it with a crystal. So I'm going to put a simple loop in the bottom of my wire, and my wire's pretty straight. And I'm going to go ahead and open that and add it to my filigree snowflake. And I'm going to add it so that my opening of my loop is to the back. So I've just created my front and my back of my earring. Let me close it and I'll show you, because as I said, I want to mirror my birds. I want them to be facing each other or away from each other. So that's what it looks like. And now I'm going to take a crystal, a blizzard crystal, and pop that on, and then I'm going to come in with my pliers and look at the front of my earring and keeping it very straight, and I'm going to bend this wire forward about 45 degrees. And if I need to do more, all I want to do is make sure that that bend is keeping my crystal in place, and it is. So now I'm going to use my crazy big bail making plier. I've been using these for these really contemporary, like swooping ear wires, and I just love it. And it just looks great in your piercing. The earring just hangs beautifully with a super large one. So I'm going to put this in so this wire is coming toward me, and I'm using the smallest bail on my tool So let me show you. I'm pushing the bead right up against the tool there, and then I'm just going to wrap around, and I bring this all the way around and let it touch and just let it bounce back. So my ear wire is formed. And then for cutting this the same length as my other one, I just turned my earring sideways and went to the bottom of my bead there as a guide and just snipped my wire just like that. And my ear wire is formed. I just want to put a little fancy bend on the end and take the sharpness off where I've cut. So I'm just going to line that up in a flat nose plier and kick that out. And look at that gorgeous earring. So fast, but so artisan and just wonderful. And then you can use a buffing block or a metal nail file. I use my battery operated wire rounder / reamer and just take the sharpness off. It's just a very professional, wonderful finish for handmade ear wires. Wonderful. So my first pair is done. Okay, now on to the snowflakes. I'm going to take the rest of that 20 gauge wire and come back with my one-step looper, and I'm just going to make a white faceted crystal connector to go between my snowflake and my special finding that I've been hoarding. So let me make these two, and then I'll show you what it is that I have from my stash to add to these snowflakes. Okay, those are done. Let me show you. Aren't these the cutest little things? I've had these and just love them. They are little gold-plated mittens with pave crystals on them, and they are just the sweetest, tiniest little things, and they are absolutely the perfect complement to the snowflake post earrings in the box. So when I got this box, I was just beyond happy. So I just made a little connector here. I'm going to open one side of my simple loop, and just like always, I'm putting the opening toward the back of my earring so that when I look at the front of my earring, it's seamless, and you know, it takes on the look of fine jewelry because I don't see any wire openings there. And so simple. I'm going to open the bottom loop and put my little mitten on and close and work harden, and that little gorgeous, unbelievably sweet, but it's still elegant pair of earrings. I just love the snowflakes and the mittens from a Florida girl. So 2 amazing pairs of earrings. My winter earring wardrobe is done. And now let's dive into this bracelet. I'm going to do a really simple stretch bracelet. I have a bracelet length of stretch cord here, and I am not going to be brave and try to hold both ends. I'm going to clamp off one end. Just going to put a clamp on one end. Actually, yeah, I think I'm going to, when I do a stretch bracelet, I try to look at whatever bead I have with a really large hole that I can hide my knot inside, and I think it's going to end up being the boho bead this time. So I'm going to just pop this boho bead on, and I'm going to just string around to the other end, and I just have to decide if I want to do the crystal rondelle spacers. It was that is really beautiful, isn't it? So maybe a crystal rondelle spacer and then one of these crystals. I'm gonna play with my pattern. It's really lovely, and I just love these. I think these are so beautiful. And actually, let me see if my stretch cord is going to go through, because these don't have a hole. You just feed whatever your stringing material is, like you feed it through. I really wanted these on my bracelet, but let's see if I can get the stretch cord to go through. Oh, it does. Just have to find that little spot right in the middle. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, I am going to keep stringing, but a star spacer and then one of these bead caps. And then a crystal, and then a bead cap. And I'm going to play with stringing my bells. So I'm going to play with stringing them right onto the stretch cord through the loop. A lot of times I'll go get a jump ring for things like that. And I think that's what I'm going to have to do, because if I push it up to the bead, it's, I think I need a jump ring so that it will hang below my crystal. So I'm going to pop jump rings on the little sleigh bells that I'm going to add in. And I have my little jump ring assortment here. So I'm going to come to this size here. And what I love about this is, again, because I wanted to mix gold and the antique copper throughout. And so this will give me a chance to put a bright gold up against the sleigh bell. So let's put a jump ring on and string that on and see how it looks. Oh yeah, see how now my little bell is hanging beneath my bead? And do you know what else would be really pretty is to use the cup chain and have some cup chain fringe and make this a really sparkly bracelet. That would be gorgeous. I think I'm going to stick with my sleigh bells though. So let's do another bead cap, crystal bead cap. And I'm just going to create a little pattern and get my length just right and come around. And even though this is going to be the focal or the middle of my bracelet, I'm going to come around to this side and finish so that I can tie my knot and pull it inside the boho bead. Okay, my bracelet is all strung, and as you can see, let me lay it down so I can show you the pattern. This is going to be the focal of my bracelet. So this little area here then goes into the bells. Like this whole section here is repeated right here. So this is going to be the back part, and I just did it so that when I come around to tie my knot, it's a centerpiece, but this knot can hide inside the large bead. There's a lot of ways to tie stretch bracelets. I do not overthink it. I do an overhand knot, right over left, like that, and then pull it tight, and then I turn my work because I'm right hand dominant and go in the opposite direction, left over right, and then I'll turn my work again. If I have a really large hole, which I do on this bead, I'll do it a few times like that and make it really chunky. And then I put some GS Hypo Cement on the knot and pull it inside. And the other thing that I do on my stretch bracelets is I make them a little bit bigger than I normally would, so that when I'm stretching them over my hand, I don't overstretch, and that makes it last a lot longer. So let me get some GS Hypo Cement in here. And I'm just going to separate my beads and get to that knot. And I'm just going to pull it inside my boho bead, and let me get the lid back on this glue. And I'm just going to come right here and snip my stretch cord, and look at my charm. Isn't it gorgeous? it just so like upscale now. It's dimensional. You can kind of see it makes it a little bit thicker. It makes it two-sided, and it has a little bit of bling since I glued a little crystal. So I won't put too much pressure on it, but it's been a little over half an hour since I did that. So I can touch it and work with it a little bit. And I'm just going to open my jump ring, and I think I'm going to come right here in between that crystal ball and the crystal rondelle and put my snowflake charm so that it will hang near the focal bead. Close that jump ring really well. And this has just got the right amount of jingle, and it's got a little snowflake on it. I just love it. Look at that. That is so pretty, and a little something to fidget with. If you're a fidgeter with your jewelry, these kind of things are just so great. I just love it. I just love, love, love this bracelet. It's so fun. It's just so like wintry, and it's gorgeous. You know, it's a little bit bold with a long sleeve shirt and jeans. That is just gorgeous. And I'm crazy about my earrings. These are a little bit more elevated with the gold plating and all the crystals. They're so sweet. And just a long sleeve white t-shirt and jeans with these, and you're just instantly polished and dressed up. I think these are my favorites. I feed the red birds at my bird feeder every day, and if I forget to put food out, they come and knock on the back door. They just are so sweet. So I have a love affair with all things red birds and winter. So I thank you so much for watching. I do have a discount code for the Magical Mystery Bead Box. You can also use it to shop the Jessie James Beads website. And one of my favorite places to shop on the website is the area called Fab Finds. They are usually in limited quantities, but really specialty things that are just so cool. And I have just made some of my prettiest jewelry with findings from that area of the website. So use the link in the description box and my discount code and enjoy shopping. And a lot of people don't know that if they sign up for a whole year to receive the Magical Mystery Bead Box, it brings the price way down to just a little over $30 a month. And it, you know, you can still get it if you only commit to 3 months or 6 months. It just, the price is a little bit higher and you don't save as much. So just so you know, those options are there if this is a box that interests you. And I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope everybody's warm and well this winter, and I will see you in the next video.